I think it's fair to say, in some capacity, we have all experienced loss. That's what I'm here to talk about today. So let's get cracking. We've all experienced loss in some form or another. Be that through loss of a friend, a family member, a partner. We've all been there. And it's something that we will experience continually throughout our lives. And those experiences will be held up here. And the hardest part, I find, is to move on from the loss. To put it to one side, to section off the mind and say, no, you belong here in the parts that I no longer need to care about or remember. That is the hardest part to do. It is difficult to get over something and to move on. And I, quite frankly, do not believe we ever truly move on. I don't believe we ever truly get over something. Because I fear that if we were to ever truly get over something, then the person that we were before the loss occurred, we would revert back to, whether we liked that person or whether we disliked that person. Tonight, I ventured on a walk, and the walk happened to take me literally down a memory lane. Somewhere where up until 7 months ago was a daily sight, it was a daily walk, and it holds a lot of value to me. Holds a lot of value to my memories, the positive memories. But those memories are now shrouded in sadness. And it's the eternal conflict between happiness and sadness and how they can often interlink in the most bizarre of ways. But we need that to happen to understand happiness and to understand sadness, because if we didn't have both, then surely we would just feel nothing, or we wouldn't be able to assign a term to those emotions. I believe it's difficult to say that we ever truly move on from loss. I believe it is just something we learn to cope with, and we learn to switch the channel. If something becomes a bad memory, if something becomes a part of the past that we no longer want to associate ourselves with, I believe all the brain does, it just flips the channel. Through our own conscious thought, us actively taking those thoughts and pushing them, forcing them to one side. It's like watching the news. If you watch the news and you see a particularly harrowing story, if the next thing you were to do was just completely switch off the television, it is more than likely that that will be the last thought that sits in your mind, and you will dwell on it. The best thing to do in that scenario is switch the channel. Turn to something more positive. Look to something more positive. I am generally a channel hopper. Unless there's something that's really grasping my attention, I will flick and flick. But I do get news notifications on my phone. And thus, if those notifications sit there, if I haven't swiped them away or I haven't opened them up, they're a constant reminder that there's something going on in the world. And it's something that either draws my attention or it's something that is going to have an impact on my day or my week and will heavily influence how I move forward. Given the current situation with COVID-19, lockdowns, restrictions, there is a lot within the news that impacts my mood and impacts the way I move forward. It impacts how I live my week. My week now, day to day, is restricted. There is very little I can do outside of these four walls, and it makes it very, very difficult. So naturally, when I then switch to social media as an escape, I am greeted with other things which draw my attention not to the current surroundings, but draw my attention to things which have happened before, through the form of memories. Now, memories are everywhere. We can never escape memories. I have photos in my living room, as you can see behind me. I have photos in my bedroom. I have photos on my phone. They're everywhere. Every photo is a moment in time that will click with something. We will remember something. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all these social media platforms present you with some form of memory. And every time I actively, for whatever reason, cycle back through my memories, I'm greeted with 3 reactions in my mind. There's a reaction of laughter, where I remember a situation being funny, where I remember a situation being rather light. There are then the memories that begin to dig a little deeper, and they present some level of emotion. Now, that emotion can be happiness mixed with sadness, as I've said, the two moulding together, and I tend to find that that's what happens when even the memories that I'm looking at are happy. Happiness progresses and it turns into a sad memory. There are then also the cringy memories, the why did I write that? What was I thinking? Those are the memories that tend to exceed a decade or so, when I was young and social media was relatively new in my life and I just posted anything for the sake of posting something. These days it's a little bit different. I'm posting news articles, political satire. I'm posting memes, as is the trend. All for some inexplicable rationale. I don't know why I post it. We just do it because that's the social media monster. We post and potentially get likes and hearts and laughing faces, things that tend to build up our own self-esteem. For whatever bizarre reason, in the 21st century, we need that level of gratification. That's an entirely separate video to talk about that. Memories have a huge impact. And the reason, going back to my original point of never getting over something, never moving on fully, is because if we were to move on, then our reactions to the memories would be null. It wouldn't matter what we were greeted with. It wouldn't matter what we were seeing in front of us, what we were experiencing around us. They would be null because we would have moved on. It wouldn't impact us anymore. Yet still, I am surrounded by things that evoke certain memories. Tonight on my walk, I revisited places unintentionally. It just happened to be on my route, but I revisited places which evoked memories. Memories of a painful time, memories which I still now beat myself up over. I criticize myself. I look back and think, why? Just why? I, in some respects, loathe myself within those memories. I look back and I can't understand the person that I was, and I can't comprehend why I acted the way I did. The difference is now I still carry that person with me. I can't get over myself, a common phrase that we hear, particularly if you're deemed to have an ego. I can't get over myself. I can't get over that version of myself. Nor can I get over what that version did. What that version of me said, how that version of me acted, and ultimately how that version of me made my own world crumble. And I still deal with the repercussions of that now. I relive the days gone by, not as a punishment, but as a reminder. And the fact of the matter is, I don't think I ever want to fully move on from those times, because I never want to be the person I was. If I could take the person that I am now and put that person in the situations I was in a year ago, my life would probably be a little bit different. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. So I never want to forget, because if I forget, then I forget all the steps I have taken to come as far as I have. You may want to move on from situations, from times in your life, but you've got to assess whether it's healthy to move on or whether it's healthy to remember. And if either causes a problem, then work with yourself to find a solution. That's my rambles for today. That's my thoughts on moving on, getting over situations. If you like this video and if you like what I'm saying, then you know what to do. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm a theatrical, so I post monologues every now and again, but I also have these introspective views on things and will post these out as well. So check out some of my other videos here I'm posting, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.